G'day guys, and today Shorty and I are going to give a bit of a shout out to some of the most underrated players in the competition that we think don't get as much praise as maybe they should, but we'll get straight into it, mate. We'll start off with you and we'll go with our top three. So who are your top three most underrated players, mate?
No worries, mate. Well, first off, I've got Callan Ward from the Giants.
Yep.
He was originally at the Dogs, obviously, and so much praise about him, but I think if he was in Victoria, we'd be talking heaps about him. He's such a jet of a player.
Yep.
I think he's probably my number one. And I've got Ted Richards from the Swans. He just does a job week in, week out, and he's such a great defender, but seems to not get the mention that some of the other defenders maybe do. Whether that's because he's in Sydney or not, I'm not sure. But and then third, I've got Brodie Smith from the Crows. Bit of an outside one, of course. And,
Yes, yeah.
I think certainly in a couple of years he might be talked about as the best rebounding defender in the comp.
Big call,
Such
big
a-
call.
Yeah, he's a beautiful kick and he's averaging about 24 touches this year. He's really taken the next step. They're my three most underrated players in the comp. Also a bit of a honourable mention to the guys like Luke Parker. He's starting to come onto the end of the sentence
Hit his straps,
of Jack
yep.
Canterbury and
Yep.
sort of getting in there now. Brad Ebert, Rory Sloane and other ones, and Jack Redham from the Lions. He's a tackling machine, so a few underrated midfielders there who probably underrated, but also probably some of the next generation stars. But how about yourself, mate? Who are your three most underrated players?
Yeah, some good picks there, Shorty. I've got James Kelly. I think he's probably one of the Cats' best players, and if he wasn't playing, I think we'd be in a bit of trouble. He just loves the contested footy,
Yeah.
and yeah, his presence is great, and his on-field leadership I think is pretty beneficial as well. Number two, I've got Richard Douglas for the Crows. I think he's a bit like James Kelly too. James Kelly as well. He just loves the contested footy. He can go forward and kick a goal or two as well, which is pretty handy for the Crows and their scoring ambitions. And he doesn't really go on the end of the sentence of players like I guess Dangerfield, Scotty Thompson, but I think over the next few years he'll get ultimate recognition. So yeah, that was just number two for me.
Yep.
A third is Shane Edwards, or Tidge Edwards as you like to call him.
He's a unique one.
Yeah, I think he's just a bit of an igniter for the Tigers. He sometimes go forward and kick a few goals, and he can just sometimes do the unbelievable. I guess. I mean, saw him kick a goal against Brisbane from the pocket earlier this year, and it was an amazing kick. And he's just got a bit of X factor about him, and I think it's probably his reason to sort of get third spot.
Yeah.
Can cause a few headaches. So
Knock that,
yeah, and honourable mentions to Dale Morris and Kate Simpson as well as Michael Jamieson. We've been pretty nice to the defenders. They've all got a bit of a mention.
Yeah, they can often fly under the radar a bit. Dale Morris he's probably played against taller blokes all his career and just gets the job done. So he's a good one.
Yeah, so some pretty good players in there, and maybe over the next few years, commentators might realise him and also fans. So with a bit of luck. So those are our underrated players. Feel free to comment your most underrated players or players that don't get quite the mention they should. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Follow us on Twitter. The link's in the description below. And we'll see you guys all soon.